All right. Good morning, Bates Elementary, the start of the 2021 school year. Welcome back, guys. How you all doing?
Doing great. How are
Great.
you?
I'm great. I can't wait to see everybody today via Zoom. We have some kids in the building. It's just a fresh school year. I know it's a little bit different, but we're all going to do it together, right?
Yep.
That's right. I can't wait to get started. I'm so happy it's finally here.
So what was the biggest thing over the summer that you did to prepare for the school year?
Well, I just worked on a lot of my technology skills, trying to make sure I got everything up to par so I can be, be the best remote teacher I can be. I'll also be here in the building a little bit, so I'm excited about that, getting to see some folks in person. But just really focused on working on technology and trying to make sure that I get all the kinks out before school starts.
Yeah, I was just doing a lot of just making sure I washed my hands and that I didn't touch my face and just practicing a lot of good safety habits so that I would keep doing those things when I was here in person with everybody.
Yep. So I hope everyone had a good summer and a safe summer. You know, when they're out in public, you're wearing your mask. So the kiddos who are here today, they're going to be wearing their masks and following the safety protocols, which their teachers will be going over with them. But while we're here now, we're going to go over some Zoom norms that's going to set up the rest of the school year, because a lot of you are at home on your computers and are going to have to log in. So, Mr. Robinson, what are some Zoom norms, which is our class time meetings? What kind of things do we need to be aware of?
Well, I think you need to be aware if you have your video on or off. That's the first thing you should be aware of to know if people could see you or not. So if you look at the bottom left, which is kind of like down here of your computer, you can see something that looks like this, maybe, or something that looks like this, right? So if your video is off, you'll have this option to stop your video. And if your video is on already, you'll have this option to start it. So that's how that goes. So that's something you want to be looking for, making sure you know if your computer video is on or off. Something else you'll maybe want to know is how to leave the meeting, right? There's a button in the bottom right that shows you how to leave. You would click that button when you're through with your meeting. There's also a hang up. It looks very similar to an iPhone or a smartphone when you leave a meeting. And then finally, whether or not you could use the chat box. Your teacher will let you know if you should be using the chat box or not. And that will be something that every individual teacher for every individual class will be making you aware of at the start of every lesson or every activity. Because I'm assuming that, for some lessons, there'll be no chatting, but then there'll be other things where you need to chat with your classmates or type a response. And I know that your teachers will be very clear with you and help you to know when it's appropriate for you to use the chat box.
Yeah, and Mr. Robinson, I don't know, when you were talking, my phone, there was a phone ringing. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So yeah. I should have clicked on the mute. So I'm still talking, but you can't hear me. So if there are distractions in the background, use that mute button. Ready?
That's right there. So that's the mute button. So when things are loud or it's not your turn to talk, you're gonna at the bottom right, which I think is here but it's your bottom right. When you're looking right like this, that means they can't hear you. So sometimes then you get called on, it looks like this, and people start talking like Mr. S just did. So then you got to hit unmute, which looks like this. And then, so for a lot, when the teachers are talking, your little microphone's gonna look like this. So that means this is your microphone and nobody can hear you. All right. And then there's gonna be other times where you can't hear anybody else, and this is because you turned your audio off. So your speakers are off, you can't hear anybody. So then you got to turn the sound on. So that's unmute, and that means you're going to be able to hear people. And then another thing that we're going to use on Zoom, that's always an option, the reaction buttons. Somebody says something that maybe you agree with, you might throw a thumbs up. So the reaction button is in the middle. It's a little smiley face with a plus sign on it. That's where you're going to find that. A teacher might say something you want to add. You can always put that hand up, and that's kind of raising your hand to let the teacher know that you have something you want to say. And then there's just Zoom added a lot of other reactions to it. Somebody says something you really agree with, you might throw a heart on there, a little cry, laughy face. I say lots of funny things, so I know people like to throw this at me. Party, little party sign. This is how I feel about everybody coming back. So these are the reactions that you can use sometimes. We don't want to just play with them because then sometimes that means we're not paying attention, and we really need everybody to pay attention. So again, thumbs up. You agree with somebody, hand raise lets the teacher know that you have something that you want to add, and just be patient and wait to get called on.
And you don't want to throw up those reactions when your teacher's talking or another classmate is talking, because then that's going to distract them from the lesson too. So we want to be appropriate with that. Thanks, Kat.
Yep. And the good thing about this is I know for a fact that all your teachers are going to tell you exactly when to use all of these different features. You're never going to be asked to guess, right, when to use these features. Your teachers will 100% of the time tell you when you need to use all of these features.
And so I have some other icons. So I have gallery view. All right, so a gallery view is when I go up to speaker view here. You can see it at the top of my screen. Whoops, went too high. I click on that, and it has the squares. I click on that again, and then we're all here. So I'm already in this view because each square is a person. So that's something if you want to see everybody in your class. And then right now we are in full screen. All right, but if I click exit full screen, it's gonna make the box smaller and you can see who's in the meeting. It's Mr. Softic, Miss Sylvanowitz, and Miss Williams.
I'm Miss Sylvanowitz.
Yep, I had to borrow Miss Sylvanowitz's computer for the day.
That's what we do at Bates, we all share.
That's right.
So again, your teachers are gonna go over these expectations with you today. So if you didn't pick up on it right away, that's okay. They're gonna go over it with you, and they're also gonna go over the agenda for the day. It's gonna go over the whole schedule for you. Now there's two types of learning. What are those two types of learning times? It's a pop quiz, Mr. Robinson.
Synchronous, or when you're live on Zoom with your teacher, and asynchronous, when you're doing some work on your own by yourself independently.
Yep. So those, again, will be some common words that your teachers are going to use, that they're going to let you know when you're going to be live, synchronous, or when you're going to be on your own, asynchronous. And if you don't get that yet, that's okay. But some of you 4th and 5th graders, that's going to be a term you're going to need to know. All right.
Awesome.
For those who are in school, make sure we're wearing our mask. We're staying within 6 feet. We're physically distant, but we're socially together, right?
Yep.
Because we're 6 feet apart does not mean we can socialize, but we need to follow those protocols like we talked about at the beginning, washing our hands before we leave and enter the building.
And there's going to be plenty of times during the day that a teacher might remind you, hey, you touched your mask, go wash your hands with soap and water. Take you 20 seconds, sit back down, and get right back to learning.
That's right. It's very important that we pay great attention to having good hygiene while we're here at school and at home too.
Yep.
All right. So if everyone's safe and healthy, we're going to have an awesome school year. It's going to be different, but you know what? It's going to go down in history as something that everyone will always remember. So we'll always have that. All right. This is going to be a historic school year. It's going to be great. And I can't wait to see everybody, whether live or virtually, but one day we all will be here together again, and we'll be having a great time, and we're going to be learning and doing our best.
And you're going to have lots of questions, so be sure to ask. That's why we're here, right? We're here to help you. We want to make sure you're getting everything out of this that you can. So any question is an important question, in my opinion. So ask your teachers, ask me, ask Mr. S, right? Ask anybody that you think that would know the answer, ask, because we want to help you, and we know that you have lots of questions, but we can't help you with those questions unless you ask them. So please don't feel nervous or anything, just ask away.
Yep, I agree, Mr. Robinson.
All right, so Mr. Robinson, there's something that we always do to end the morning announcements, and it's been a while. So
I know.
I'm trying to figure out what that is, but I'm sure some people out there know. So what is it that we do?
Well, we're gonna wrap it up right now for you. So that is gonna wrap up your announcements for the first day of school. And as always, it's a great day to be great. Oh, I'm so excited to be back.
Let's go.